You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
What happened, dude?
I don't know, man. I've been drinking.
You been drinking?
Yeah, I've been drinking.
Okay.
And I took some weed pills.
Some weed pills?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just another quiet Wednesday morning in Fairview Heights, Illinois. The sun was out, traffic was calm, and one local police officer was handling what looked like a simple traffic stop, nothing out of the ordinary. But within minutes, that quiet routine would explode into chaos.
Shit! Fairview 187. My vehicle's just been hit. Start an ambulance.
Hey.
Okay. I don't want you to get hit, okay?
Because out of nowhere, a man driving a sleek gray Chevrolet Camaro slammed straight into the officer's patrol car, on purpose. And when the officer confronted him, the driver calmly said something that no one could believe. He told the officer, and I quote, "I did it because I don't like police officers."
In the back of me on purpose?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I hate cops, man.
Yeah? Alright. We got an ambulance coming, okay?
All right.
Alright.
They gonna take me home? Or
I don't know. You ain't got no weapons on you, do you?
Okay.
Go ahead and put your hand down back for me.
That one sentence instantly turned a simple traffic stop into a national headline. What started as a warning for an expired license plate quickly became one of the most bizarre and disturbing acts of open defiance against law enforcement in recent memory. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't a case of reckless driving. According to investigators, this was deliberate, fueled by alcohol, weed gummies, and pure hatred. But what really happened that morning? Why would someone intentionally crash their car into a police vehicle, knowing there were cameras, witnesses, and guaranteed consequences? Let's break down the shocking story of how a calm morning on Old Collinsville Road turned into a crash that stunned an entire community. It was around 9 a.m. on Old Collinsville Road, a typical mid-morning in Fairview Heights. For one police officer, it was supposed to be just another stop on a quiet shift. He had pulled over a driver whose license plate sticker had expired, not by a few months, not even a year, but 5 whole years. A routine check. A quick warning. Nothing more. The officer parked his patrol car behind the stopped vehicle, turned on his emergency lights, and stepped out. Everything was calm. The street was quiet except for the distant hum of passing cars. He began walking toward the passenger side of the stopped vehicle, slow, steady, professional. The body camera on his vest was rolling, capturing every second, as it always did. But what the officer didn't know was that just a few hundred feet down the same road, a gray 2018 Chevrolet Camaro was speeding straight toward him, and its driver had no intention of stopping. No one could have predicted what was about to happen next. Within seconds, that calm, uneventful morning would turn into one of the most shocking incidents Fairview Heights had ever seen. Without warning, the calm silence of Old Collinsville Road was shattered. A gray 2018 Chevrolet Camaro came roaring down the street, its engine growling louder by the second.
Shit! Fairview 187. My vehicle's just been hit.
Witnesses said it didn't even try to slow down. No screeching tires, no brake lights, nothing. And then, impact. The Camaro slammed full force into the back of the police squad car. The sound of metal crushing and glass shattering echoed through the street. The patrol car lurched forward, smashing into the vehicle the officer had just pulled over. A 3-car chain reaction in a matter of seconds. The officer spun around, completely stunned. For a split second, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. His patrol car, the one he had just stepped away from, was mangled in the middle of the road. Had he been inside that vehicle, he might not have survived. The timing was pure luck, or fate. People nearby froze. Drivers stopped. The 2 passengers from the pulled-over vehicle sat in shock, realizing they just watched something insane unfold right in front of them. But the most disturbing part wasn't the crash itself. It was what the driver did next. He didn't run. He didn't panic. He didn't even look scared. He calmly got out of the Camaro and started walking straight toward the officer. The officer, still processing what just happened, turned to face the man stepping out of the Camaro. The driver looked calm, too calm, almost detached, like he wasn't even fazed by the chaos he'd just caused. Body camera footage later revealed every moment. The man walked toward the officer with his hands slightly raised, not to surrender, but to talk, as if nothing out of the ordinary had happened. And then he said something that stopped everyone cold. "I did it because I don't like police officers."
In the back of me on purpose?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I hate cops, man.
Yeah? Alright. We got an ambulance coming, okay?
Alright.
Alright.
They gonna take me home while I'm going?
I don't know. You ain't got no weapons on you, do you?
No, sir.
Go ahead and put your handgun back on me.
That was it. No hesitation. No apology. No sign of fear. Just raw defiance. In that moment, the situation went from shocking to almost unreal. This wasn't some wild accident caused by distraction or bad luck. It was intentional. When the officer questioned him further, the man casually admitted he'd been drinking earlier and had consumed weed gummies. He even mentioned it like it was no big deal, like it was just another part of his morning routine before deciding to ram a police car.
What happened, dude?
I don't know, man. I've been drinking.
You been drinking?
Yeah, I've been drinking.
Okay.
And I took some weed pills.
Some weed
Fucked
pills?
up. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else in the car?
Nah, it's just me.
You could hear the disbelief in the officer's voice. It's one thing to deal with drunk drivers or reckless behavior. But someone openly admitting to doing it on purpose, just because of hatred? That's something entirely different. At that point, backup was called. The man was placed under arrest right there on the spot. Still, his expression didn't change. No remorse, no regret. Just that eerie calmness that made the whole thing even more disturbing. But what's even crazier? The officer was lucky to be alive, and the reason why is almost unbelievable. Moments after the crash, as sirens began echoing through Fairview Heights, reality started to sink in. That officer had just come inches away from serious injury, or worse. He wasn't inside his patrol car when the Camaro hit. He had stepped out just seconds before impact. If he had been even a few feet closer or a few seconds slower, that crash could have been fatal. The Camaro hit with enough force to shove the fully equipped police vehicle into another car, and both of those cars were pushed several feet forward. That's not a minor fender bender. That's raw impact. According to the police report, the officer had just begun walking toward the passenger side of the stopped vehicle when the sound of the crash erupted behind him. The timing was unreal. He had unknowingly saved his own life by doing what he always did, approaching a stopped car from the passenger side, away from traffic. When you think about it, it's chilling. A simple procedural habit, the kind police are trained to follow every day, might have been the only thing standing between him and death. Meanwhile, the two people in the stopped car sat frozen. They had no idea what was happening. One moment, they were getting a warning for an expired license sticker. The next, they were part of a three-car collision caused by a man who simply didn't like cops. But the investigation was only just beginning. Because what happened next would uncover even more, from the driver's bizarre behavior to what officials found when they started digging deeper into the case. Within minutes of the crash, Illinois State Police agents were called in to take over the investigation. The Fairview Heights Department knew right away, this wasn't a standard traffic accident. This was intentional, and it had to be handled with precision. The officer's body camera became one of the most critical pieces of evidence. Every second of the event, from the initial traffic stop to the shocking confession, was captured in high-definition footage. It left no room for speculation about what had happened. On the recording, investigators could clearly hear the driver admitting he'd been drinking and had taken weed gummies. His words were slurred, but his tone was calm, disturbingly calm for someone who had just crashed head-on into a police cruiser. After the arrest, the man was taken straight to the county jail for questioning. His name wasn't immediately released to the public, but police confirmed that felony charges were pending. Given the evidence, there was little doubt that this case would move fast. The Illinois State Police later released a brief statement confirming that the crash was under active investigation and that the video footage had been secured. They didn't add much else, no theories, no speculation, just a promise that further details will be made available when appropriate. Still, locals couldn't stop talking about it. The entire town of Fairview Heights was buzzing. People were asking the same question: who was this man? And what could make someone go to such extreme lengths just to prove a point? The answers weren't clear yet. But what was clear was that this wasn't just a random act of recklessness. It was a statement, however twisted it might have been. News of the crash spread like wildfire. Within hours, social media was flooded with posts, pictures, and clips pulled from the police report and local TV broadcasts. People couldn't believe what they were reading. A man purposely ramming his car into a police vehicle, and then calmly admitting he did it because he doesn't like police officers. It sounded too insane to be real. But the footage proved otherwise. Comment sections blew up. Some people were furious, demanding the man face the harshest punishment possible. Others were just stunned, trying to understand what would drive someone to do something so reckless and self-destructive. Memes popped up online, hashtags started trending locally, and news anchors replayed the same short clip of the crash over and over. The moment that gray Camaro slammed into the patrol car. It became one of those viral stories that left everyone talking, shaking their heads in disbelief. Even more chilling was how emotionless the driver appeared. Witnesses said he showed no anger, no fear, just a blank, detached stare, like this was something he had already decided long before that morning. In a world where people often vent their frustrations online, this man took his anger to the streets, literally. And his reckless act didn't just risk his own life. It could have ended the lives of innocent people who had nothing to do with his hatred. The story hit close to home for law enforcement officers everywhere. It was a reminder of how unpredictable and dangerous even the simplest stops can be. But beyond the outrage and disbelief, there was still one question hanging over everyone's mind. Why? Why would someone throw their freedom, their safety, and their future away just to make a point no one would ever respect? That question would linger long after the crash site was cleared and the headlines moved on. When you strip away all the shock and chaos, this story isn't just about a crash, it's about something deeper. A single moment of anger. One reckless decision. And a man who thought hatred was worth more than common sense. It's easy to look at this case and call it crazy, but it's also a harsh reminder of how fragile self-control can be. One bad thought, one impulsive action, and life changes, forever. That morning on Old Collinsville Road could have ended in tragedy. The officer could have been inside his car. The two innocent people in the stopped vehicle could have been hurt. But by pure chance, or maybe fate, no one was injured. Still, the damage was done. A police car destroyed, a man facing felony charges, and a community left stunned by the level of hatred one person carried inside him. And that's the part that hits hardest. Because underneath all the headlines and outrage, there's a simple truth. We're living in a time where anger can turn into action faster than reason can stop it. This crash wasn't just about one man and his grudge. It was a mirror, showing how far people can go when they let hate take the wheel. So the next time you see flashing blue lights on the road or hear about a routine traffic stop, remember this story. Because for one officer in Fairview Heights, that ordinary morning nearly became his last. And as for the man behind the wheel of that Camaro, his reason was simple, but the consequences will haunt him for years. What do you think drives someone to go this far? Was it hate, intoxication, or something much deeper? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more real-life stories that make you question how far people can go, hit that subscribe button. Because trust me, this isn't the last time reality proves stranger than fiction.